Hello and good evening, traders. Now, it's very difficult to figure out what the markets are really trying to do. We have 6 consecutive negative daily closes from the benchmark Nifty 50, and it seems like for the last 2 days, the selling is getting more intense. So let's take a look at the Nifty chart closely. Of course, the rest of the sectoral charts, and of course, the RRG graphs. Let's try and make some sense. If it doesn't make any sense, I think that's also fine. In these kind of markets, it's better to push yourself back and wait a bit in the sidelines, wait for the markets to settle down. So come, join me. Let's try and figure out what's happening with the Indian equity markets. All right, so here we are back to our usual 3 time frames, the monthly on my left, weekly on the center, daily on the right hand side, next price indicator, next RSI indicator, and of course the state of flow. It's not a pretty picture to begin with. We're almost coming to a close of the September month, right? And we've got a small bodied, can you see here? We've got a very small bodied Heikin with distinct upper shadows, talks about the choppiness, indecisiveness. We'll talk about this chart again once we have a proper close of the month. Weekly chart, pretty wide range, small bodied red HNGV in terms of an Heikin Ashi. Trend positive. This thin dotted line, can you see this one, is the close. This is where the market has closed. And this was the range last week or this particular week. And this is where it has closed, almost at the lowest point of the week's range. Not a good sign again. We'll come to the daily chart and it's going to get intense. From the weekly time frame, the trend is positive. The momentum is flat. After 2 good weeks, the market has corrected sharply. And so important level on the upside first is this week's high. For the Nifty spot, that's around 25,330. For Nifty futures, it's around 25,394, around 25,400. We'll stick to the futures chart because we can talk about a bit about volume profile and all those things. The index is back to the previous lows from where it had seen lower shadows and multiple bounce backs. That's where you are back again. The weekly view or theme that I was taking out, let's be cautiously bullish. I think we can just ignore that. From the weekly time frame, we do not have much clarity. We had clarity, things were improving, but it has given up quite a bit very fast. So I would suggest to stay away and wait for the weekly time frame to give us some clarity. Now come to the daily. Almost 100% retracement of the previous rally. Let's blow out the daily time frame. Let's take a look at it and take up the entire real estate to understand. This was the rally. This is the 6-day correction. Almost 100% retracement. I had plotted the volume profile. It had given me a point of control close to the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. Did not work. I have a follow-up kind of a control area which is around this area, which is 24,600, 700 areas for the Nifty future. But having said that, look at the increase in the size of Heikin Ashi. Strong momentum on the downside. Look at the close almost at the lowest point of the day's range. These are not good signs. Yes, short-term indicators, parameters will be oversold and they may stay oversold. Short-term trend, which was nicely up just a week back, has nicely turned down a week after. So you understand what we are going through is not an easy market. We had a 6-week-old correction, a bounce back that did not last, a better bounce back that also did not last. For long-only traders, there was hope coming back, gone. For short-term derivatives traders on the long side as well as the short side, you probably should start to eye short trades as well. But again, if it bounces back again like this, sharp, it's difficult. That's the point. These are difficult markets to trade, number one. Number two, I'm a long-only trader. What should I do? Nothing. Wait, yes. For what? For this particular selling to slow down. Forget supports for the time being, because supports or levels are getting breached, broken effortlessly. So you don't have to figure out some support, wait for the price to come to the support and expect the bounce back. Maybe it's not going to turn out that way. On the contrary, on the other hand, I would suggest look at price closely and wait for signs of selling slowdown. I use Heikin Ashi extensively, and I can show you a couple of examples. The first example will be slowdown of the selling means some bit of a green Heikin Ashi with upper as well as lower shadows. Then if you get a bullish Heikin Ashi, which is without the lower shadow, a green Heikin Ashi, that will mean, yes, there is some revival reversal. Of course, you can keep an eye on whatever momentum indicator you're using. I use the next momentum indicator here. So nothing doing, wait out. From the Nifty's point of view, when we take a look at the sectors, we will see if there's any sectoral strength. Then, of course, we can look for long opportunities within those strong sectors. So Nifty is given back all the gains, and we are back to a short-term downtrend. Congratulations. What about CNX 500? The broader markets have fallen equally bad. So has the CNX Midcap, and so has the CNX Smallcap. My issue, because I trade futures from a short-term point of view, my issue with these kind of charts is the range of this week. My charts tells me, these kind of weekly charts tells me that it's still okay. You've got a sign of consolidation. If the high of the candle is breached, I can expect bullish impetus. This is what my charts are telling me. But the problem is where I have closed and where is my level. I have to scale back. I have to go back, scale back the entire move, and then I'm going to turn bullish, which makes my decision making very, very difficult for the week ahead. Anyways, coming back to the broader markets, nothing. Stay away, wait for the selling slowdown. Now let's take a look at the sectors. To look at the sectors, we always bring in our RRG graphs. The first thing that I'm going to do is bring up our NSE sectors, number one, compare it with Nifty 500, number two, and I'm going to first drop the count to 1 week. Okay, they will not allow me to drop it to less than three weeks. Okay, these are days. Can I drop it to 1 week? I just wanted to check. No problem. I'll come to a heat map. I will open up the NSE watch list heat maps, NSE sectors that I have, those 15 sectors, and I click on 1 week. I just wanted to figure out from a weekly perspective, where do we stand? It's a heat map. And as you can see, metals is the least affected. IT is the most affected, 7.86. Real estate, IT, pharma, small cap. Consumer durables, midcap, all are negative. Okay, nothing fancy. Least negative is metal, public sector bank. This is private banks and PSU banks and bank Nifty. This is a good sign. We'll come back to this area. 1 to 2% fall. It's a 2% sectoral fall, but the less compared to a 7% or an 8%. With this in mind, we come to the RRG graph area, and we increase our weekly counts. Let's go back to the chart once. Let's see that, let's go back to Nifty. And from this point, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks since the low. Since this low, it has been 7 weeks. So let's do the RRG evaluation from a 7-week point of view this weekend. Short In terms of percentage change, let me cross check. NSE sectors checked, 500 checked, weekly checked, 7 weeks, fine, no problem. Auto is the biggest gainer and it is exceptionally well positioned. Auto is showing phenomenal strength. Auto over here on the weekly chart is also beautiful. By the way, CNX Auto hit an all-time high this week. So it's a sign of strength. But it had also given a flush out move like a trap on the upside. This was, I think, on Tuesday. And since then, it has cooled off. It is cooling off. Let it go oversold. View bullish strategy. Look for long trades, but wait for Heikins to improve. Wait for your momentum indicators to turn around. So auto goes bullish. Let me deflag and take out all the flags which we had put in last week. So it will be easier for us to create a view on the sectors. So auto. Going back to the RRG graphs, metal and consumer durables for the last 7 weeks, remember. Metals also looking very nice. Consumer durables, not as good as metals. It has some relative strength, but it's losing the momentum. Okay. CNH metal. Very good looking weekly chart, good looking monthly chart, almost close to all-time highs, no divergences whatsoever. It cools off in today's trade. I'm going to change the Heikin to bar chart on the daily time frame just to understand the extent of sell-off it went through, particularly today. This entire stage, it never had seen almost a 2% correction. So what does CNX metal gives us? Strong chart, strong trend, momentum sink, cooling off just like the market, let it go oversold, let it give me signs of revival in terms of Heikin Ashi or momentum, RSI, stochastics, whatever you use. Your daily charts should show you signs of revival. But view positive. Don't look to short metals. The third one was consumer durables, I remember. Consumer durables has been particularly disappointing. Over the last 7 weeks, it's still doing fine, but then it has corrected quite a bit in 2 legs, ABC kind of a correction. Today's sell-off was also vicious, quite sharp. Weekly chart, the bearish Heikin is contradicting the state of flow, so it's not that great. Daily charts are negative. We can see the extent of the retracement, the size of the Heikin Ashi. It's better to stay away. So it's not bearish completely. Of course, it's mixed, so not bullish. So we are not going to keep any, view on the consumer durables. We'll say stay away. From the leading, let's come to the guys which are weakening, and that's where we have PSU Bank, we have the small cap, and we have the mid cap. You can see very clearly all 3 of them angling down like this, which means losing both relative strength as well as momentum of the relative strength. Small cap and mid cap, the view is very, very similar to that of the Nifty. Weekly is okay. Daily is not okay. After a fall like this, generally they should give you a pullback. After the pullback, will you open up further on the downside or extend up? That's the million-dollar question. But as a trader who needs clarity and who needs to be prepared for next week, what do I do with a chart like this? And the simple clarity and the simple answer is stay away, do nothing. There's a bit of bullishness still there on the weekly chart. There's no bullishness on the daily chart. The monthly chart is still okay, not bad. And that's why it's neither very bullish nor bearish. Let's wait. And how do we deal with these kind of charts couple of weeks ahead? See, what will happen is if these charts, which has fallen quite a bit, the weekly is still okay-ish. If we get a very good revival, then the weekly strength will help us for long trades. If it bounces back a little bit and fizzles and goes down, then that will bring the weekly charts down and everything will turn negative and it will move on to a very negative sentiment zone. At this juncture where we have a very sharp sell-off, momentum driven, it's best to do nothing and wait for a little bit of a slowdown. Let's evaluate the market sentiment. So stay away. So small and mid cap. There was one more sector which was there in the weakening quadrant, and that's this Nifty PSU bank. PSU banks have been behaving particularly good. SBI, PNB, Bank of Baroda. We've got a breakout. We've got a sustained breakout. We've got a good looking weekly chart, no problem. We've got a decent looking daily chart cooling off. This has strength in it, to be honest. However, from a 7-week point of view, what it's trying to tell us, the RRG graph, it's a bit weakening. I, however, will mark it with a green flag, and I'll expect that the bullishness will continue. I will be looking for long trades later once the momentum turns around. With this, let's come to the lagging. Now, the lagging quadrant list is always a long one. Energy, looking bad, going right to left. Public sector enterprise, another not looking that good. Private bank is inching up a little bit, not bad. Financial services, reality, really beaten down. And Nifty bank or bank Nifty. We have the bank Nifty, we have the financials, we have the private bank. So let's take these three first. They are in the lagging quadrant. Bank Nifty, the most important sector to the market. Weekly chart, make or break. Which way more? Break more. Why? Trend indicator negative, state of flow negative, momentum negative. We've got a consolidation bar, which is an HGB on the Heikin. This low breaks, expect further downside. Simple. However, the fall has become very, very sharp. So it might halt a little bit, give us a bounce back, and then maybe decide to fall. That's the break part. Then why did I say make part? The make part is primarily because of this sole solid bullish Heikin Ashi. If there's any merit to this rally, these kind of sell-offs should bottom out. It should not break the lows and break down. देखिए होने को कुछ भी हो सकता है. Anything can happen. But what I'm trying to say is, if this leg has some merit of bullishness, then we should see a revival, which we are not able to find. At least for the last 6 days, we did not see anything. And that's why make above last week's high, break below this week's particular low. Considering close is very near the low. I was going to say close is close to the low. Considering that the close of the week and the day is very near the day's low and the week's low, breaking the low will be very obvious next week. So, Bank Nifty, make or break, let's stay out. Also, my RRG graph is telling me it's in the weekend quadrant. If Bank Nifty is a view like this, then the private bank will also give me similar kind of readings. Yes, I'm not going to flag it. And I'll take a look at CNX Finance, which is also same. So I'm not going to flag it right now. I would prefer to see a bit of selling slow down, maybe a bottoming out, maybe some revival, maybe some strength coming in from big names. Who knows? But as of now, I can't flag it green or red for next week. Realty got beaten down big time, really weak on the downside. If we take a look at the CNX Realty Index, Realty and the defense, these two I was quite hopeful this week. Realty disappointed big time, because the trend reversal, I was waiting for a bit of a consolidation correction and the follow through move, because the weekly chart had divergences, HLGBs, and a lot of stuff was there on the weekly time frame to give us a rally. The second leg of the rally, that is, did not come at all. Huge outside bar. Back to the lows from where you had found support multiple times in the past. Too late to go short. No sense to go long. There's nothing to go long. Stay away. Reality. The other one is energy and public sector enterprise. Energy and public sector enterprise. Let's take a look at CNX Energy. Weekly chart, not that bad. Daily chart has come off quite a bit. Considering I don't have, let's say, the standard signs of weakness on the weekly chart, pe nahi hai, it's not there. I would like to give a green flag to the CNX Energy. I would like to see whether this polarity will hold or not, and आगे जाके कहीं पे कोई भी reversal मिलता है कि नहीं. So energy, I will be looking for a revival. And then CNXPAC, public sector enterprise. Okay, not bad. That's kind of okay. Again, a bit of polarity may play out here. So public sector enterprise also, I would like to keep it a green flag. I should remember that last week, public sector enterprises across banks, defense, energy, public sector stocks had given a good move. So let's see if we see any revival or not. So PAC, I will mark it green. Which brings us to the last quadrant, which is the improving quadrant, where comes FMCG, pharma, and IT. IT is significantly away from the axis. No relative strength. Pharma has some relative strength. FMCG relatively less. Now, today's drama in the market was primarily because of the pharma. Open gap down, stayed down 2%. Very disappointing, very, very disappointing, because it was holding really, really well, given a breakout, sustaining the breakout. All of a sudden, a tariff comment and the entire fact gaps down. So this is difficult. Price was trying to gain some grounds, but thanks to these kind of events, we are back to those lows from where we managed some bounce back. Weekly time frame, looking mixed readings. Daily, of course, weak. I'm not going to do anything. Stay away. Pharma. IT. Again, IT had been particularly weak, though this bounce back was impressive. The cool off was impressive. The follow through was impressive, just like the Nifty. But then this happened. 100% retracement, more than 100%, has broken the lows and has opened up on the downside. Weekly charts have gone negative. Daily charts was anyways negative. Look for shorting opportunities on a rally. I'm going to mark it red, but not right now, not at this level. It's too late to short. Any kind of a meaningful correction, one can look for shorting opportunities. That's IT. And then we have FMCG also in the improving quadrant. FMCG, big disappointment, particularly because I was expecting, based on last week's Heikin, which was like this, it was a nice make or break. It was ready for a breakout. Just the opposite happened. It had the foundation to give the move. The charts were improving, on the verge of giving a breakout. Many sectors had given a breakout, but FMCG failed. Weekly, not good, mostly negative. Daily, negative. I would also mark FMCG negative. Which brings me to the last couple of sectors, which are your capital market. Negative from the weekly, negative from the daily. So look for bounce backs. Defense was doing pretty good. Weekly, good. Daily, cooling off. Maybe some polarity support. I would wait out for some long opportunities. I'll mark it green. India Digital, you've got IT names there. You can see the extent of the sell-off. Stay away. In fact, it is negative, primarily because of the IT names. And then tourism, which has disappointed. It was right close to its all-time highs, but very choppy and has opened up on the downside. This also looks negative. So a lot has changed all of a sudden, right? Just 6-7 trading sessions back, we were amidst a nice rally. We started to see some slowdown, we were okay with it. We were saying it's healthy for the market, let it cool off, we will wait for the next rally, etc., etc., Diwali rally and all those things. But then by the time it was day 4, 5, and 6, particularly day 5 and 6, that's today and yesterday, it just broke down with a lot of vengeance, it seems like. Back to the previous lows, Nifty. Sectors, reality, IT has already broken below it. Bank Nifty, private bank, finance are hovering somewhere here. Defense, auto, PSU banks are doing better. So we have few which are showing strength, few which are in an area from where we can expect a bounce back, and few which are broken down quite significantly, and they should probably slow down and give us a bounce back. See, from a trader's point of view, I do not have the clarity. Should I have faith in the rally or should I have faith in the sell-off? कौन सा सही है? Which one? Which move will give me a follow-through? In this fall Will it bounce back and give me a follow through? I don't know. Because every time I was expecting this, it bounced back. And when it bounced back, will any of the bounce back cool off and give me a follow through? That I also don't know. And which makes, again, I will say the same thing, which makes a short term trader's life very difficult in this situation. You ask me, I am in Calcutta, Kolkata, and this week, next week, entire week is going to be the Durga Puja festivals. So I'm going to make good use of it. Very less positions, just one. Just focus on that. No intention to add anything. Let the market do whatever. I'm going to enjoy my feast and we'll take a look at it later. But I'm not telling you to do the same thing. You would do the same thing if you're in the same city. That's for granted. But if you're from a different city and you want to track and trade the markets, be extra careful, cautious. Remind yourself at the beginning of every day, you need not trade every day. You need not. And for the next, let's say for the next 10 trades, try and book out early, please, if you see good short-term profits. Because with me, it has happened. Good trades, which were giving good profits at one point of time, very quickly they are dissipating, very quickly. I do not track the 5-minute, 1-minute or 15-minute charts. And so when I take a look at these charts after an hour or two, things look very different. Look very, very different. So ho sake to next 10, 12 trades, book out quickly so that it just normalizes a little bit. Right? So that's the view, which is to be careful and cautious. Do let me know what are your thoughts about the market. Do let me know about this particular end of the week market take. Till then, take care of yourselves, enjoy the weekend, and trade well tomorrow. Good night, everyone.